What's going on, everybody? This is a segment from the Nerdgasm Talk podcast. If you like podcasts, well, why don't you come join us as the crew gets silly and Philly while we sit to talk about the latest in comics, games, movies, and all things pop culture. You guys can listen to our whole show on all the podcasts apps. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you guys get your podcasts from. And make sure you guys also support the channel by subscribing to the Nerd Coalition Studios. And for the gaming needs, make sure you subscribe to Nerd Coalition Level Up. This is the Nerd Coalition. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And now, feel the Nerdgasm. Alright, guys, so joining us right now, when we're about to get into our next review, is the greatest sketch, Lady Sketch.
Yep.
I know.
Hey.
So, she has joined us for this because we're about to get into another review here for a series that came out on Peacock last week, which they released all the episodes for it. So I was a good binge watch, a good 5-hour binge watch, only 30-minute episodes, and that is Twisted Metal. So for those who don't know, Twisted Metal was like this car mayhem brawl type game back on PlayStation.
The fact that they made this into a show, I was just like, why?
Shocking.
At first, when they announced it, I was like, why are we doing this? But all right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same.
And all they ain't the only thing you said. What was the other reason why?
Because Anthony always smirks Mackie is the star.
I mean, he is the lead. They said, Falcon, we need you to play John Doe. Now, here's the thing. I did not play Twisted Metal like that growing up. I ain't really care. It wasn't because I was scared of Sweet Tooth or nothing like that. I just ain't really play it because I'm not really into card games like that. Mm-hmm. And because it's just like my son's like, yo, I want to go see Gran Turismo. I'm just like, you ever play that? I'm just like, yeah, and I sold it because I wasn't a fan of racing games like that.
That's a simulator.
Exactly. Whereas Twisted Metal was just more brawl crash. Like, it's kind of remember when you showed me Burnout?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually like Burnout.
The Burnout's fun. Twisted Metal kicked my ass.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So no,
I can't shoot and drive. Like I
boy.
gotta. Am I running or killing?
Look, I ain't gonna tell you how I missed all my targets in Grand Theft Auto the other day when I was playing it, trying to do the drive-by and drive at the same time. It's like, man, I missed bad. So, but anyway, we get the show. This one's starring Anthony Mackie as the title character as John Doe. Let me tell you, I watched this off a whim. Okay, I didn't even know what to expect, and me and Lady Sketch turned on the first episode, and then he was like, okay, I'll come back to it. That's what it was like. And then one night I was like, hey, we're gonna put this on. Next thing I know, it's 2:00 in the morning, and we're on the 8th episode. And I was like, damn, I kind of got into this.
It did go by rather fast because the episodes are only a half an hour long.
Yeah, half an hour long. So, real quick, it's quick synopsis. There's, this is post-apocalyptic. You know what I'm saying? Things is going on in the world, and we have this character by the name of John Doe who's the milkman who goes to different cities and travels and drops off cargo to these different things that they need. And it's not just because it's like food or supplies or toilet paper, whatever the case may be. He drops ice cream. You know what I'm saying? So
that was wild.
Yeah, whatever the thing is that he has to do. But he meets this woman. God, what's her name? Viper.
I don't remember her name.
Okay,
Are you talking about
from Scream?
Old girl from Scream?
Yes.
Oh.
What was her name? I'm actually gonna
remember. It wasn't like Raven or something like that, like a bird or something of the sort.
It could be
an animal.
It was, I'm actually gonna pull it up. Raven, you were right. You were absolutely right.
Oh, it was Raven.
Yeah, her name was Raven. She has this ultimate job for John. If he can go all the way to New Chicago, pick up her package, and then bring it back, she will give him a new life. Because inside this post-apocalyptic area, they have these closed off cities where they're like living like regular people, as if like this event didn't affect them. And now to get inside the city, he has to make this run. But this run, because they're over on the West Coast.
Yes, it was. They were going from New San Francisco, which I'm presuming is just San Francisco, to Chicago.
Yeah.
Which is a long ass drive.
That's a trip.
It's just a trip, all right, especially when you ain't got nothing but the car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to do that, but it's going to be very dangerous. The things he has to go through and make it back. So right now we're going to go in there. We'll give you guys the good, give you some of the things that we did not like, and what to expect after Twisted Metal. So first off, we're going to start off with the good here. And I have to say, man, Andy Mackie's dope in this, man. I can't hate on it. I'm like, yo, I know y'all. When I say y'all, I mostly talk about Quattro and Lady Sketch be coming at him as Clarence. But I'm like, I thought he graduated from Clarence a long time ago.
It's not just Clarence.
It's Tupac.
Anthony Mackie.
Don't bring that up.
Anthony Mackie has quite a few cringe-worthy roles where I'm just like, oh no, oh god.
Even his still shots Tupac. It just makes me want to vomit.
It's not good. I mean, Tupac. He was a little bit annoying, and she hate me.
I still want her to hate me.
Captain African American before he, got promoted. I can't. Sometimes I just.
Swag, how'd you feel about Anthony?
Anthony Mackie was good.
I agreed that in this he was cool.
He was entertaining enough to carry the series, which you should for a main character.
I'm saying that this is your thing. I felt as though that he was really entertaining this one. It was like he showed enough of being a badass, but also showed that he's funny.
Right.
Yeah. And along on his way, there is this woman that he meets up.
Her name's, I believe her name is Stephanie Beatrice.
Beatrice, yes, who plays in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And
she's also
that's where she's from.
And she's in Encanto. Yes.
That's where she's from. I was like, bro, I've seen her, but I don't remember where.
Yeah, she plays the character as Quiet. Now, that's obviously not her real name, but in the beginning of the show, she didn't talk. And we didn't really know why she didn't talk or why she was missing a finger, because she was going out with her brother, and unfortunately her brother gets killed. I won't spoil, how her brother gets killed, but he does get killed, and they end up running into each other because they're trying to kill each other, and they're trying to steal from each other because we're in a post-apocalyptic world. But I have to say this. I have seen a lot of things this year, Hidden Strike just being one of them, where the two main characters do not have no chemistry.
I was about to say the same exact thing, where it's like, it was kind of refreshing because there have been several things where I was just like, who put y'all together?
Like, seriously.
Did y'all have a conversation before you started shooting at all? They just threw y'all in the room and said action.
When it came to John Doe and Quiet, I felt the chemistry to the point where I was like, this could be a real life partnership.
Except for them ball pit scenes. Those were kind of...
We'll get,
Yeah, I felt like their chemistry gradually grew.
But
and that's how it should work. Like, it should be a thing. Like, we get closer as time goes on. I mean, this is not a short trip.
Not at all. And I've read some things online that was talking about they didn't like the back and forth all the time. It's like they would kind of get along, then they would be at each other's neck again. Kind of get along, be at each other's neck again. But I was like, hold on now. In my personal opinion, when it came to how it built up, each reason why they got mad at each other or wanted to kill each other, to me, was justified.
Right.
And even when it was episode 4, I believe it was, when they were hiding out in the movie theater. And it was like they had a moment watching Blank Man in the theater, right?
Jane Fine.
I can't stand Blank Man, man. I really can't.
He hates it so bad.
I'm like, y'all could have been watching Meteor Man. Y'all in there watching Blank Man.
I love Blank Man.
No, and they had a cool moment in the theaters watching the movie, but then the next morning when John Doe is like trying to help her out and he's washing her coat, but she's like, wait a minute, that's my brother's coat and it still had his blood. I don't have nothing left of him. I understand now. Of course, she's grieving, right. And I understand that, and I understand why they go back to arguing. I can understand that her anger, her grieving of the person that killed her brother, she wants to go by any means necessary and kill this man. Mm-hmm. So if she has to go through John to do it, I get that, especially as it's gradually getting there. But then when they finally, it's just like, hey, you gotta let go. I felt that scene. Right. In a comedy series, I felt that. And I was like, after that, it was like, okay, we run to the races now. This is what it's going to be about. It was refreshing to see that. I seen too much stuff this year where I was like, there's no chemistry between any of these people.
Listen, there was a movie that we both put on our bed for the midterm where it was just like, I'm not sure if y'all want to be in the same room with each other for real. But I thought it was it made sense that there would be a back and forth because just the circumstances of the way you living now.
Yes.
Even without these events, like these small events happening between the two of them, if you are living in a world where you constantly looking over your shoulder and you both have been through some incredible traumas along the way, of course you're not going to just trust someone and be like, all right, well, at least now I have a traveling partner. No, that's not how it's going to work.
Yeah.
So I understood that. And then, like you said, there were things that happened where I was like, I get it. I would not want to talk to this person either. But you kind of stuck together because it's like we've learned that they complement each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like, but you're getting on my nerves. So, what do we do with that?
Yeah, it was natural, especially when we get more to the. I can tell that they truly felt for each other, and she only did what she did, not to spoil anything, because she cared for him. Yeah, and I was like, we got to that point. Going on next to the thing, I really was like, damn, this was good. Sweet Tooth.
I like Sweet Tooth a lot.
Sweet Tooth.
I liked them a lot.
I still want answers as to why Samoa Joe just couldn't do his voice.
So for those who don't know, Sweet Tooth is played by two people. Samoa Joe is the buyer. For those who don't know Samoa Joe, or if Sway doesn't know, he's a wrestler. Joe. Samoa Joe is a dope wrestler.
He's a big body.
Yeah, he's a big body. He's a wrestler who loves hip hop. So I let him go. He's probably at the thing yesterday. I don't know. I ain't checked.
Probably was.
I'm saying, but Will Arnett is the voice of Sweet Tooth.
Yeah.
I don't know what him and Joe discussed because every time Sweet Tooth's on screen, I actually feel like that's him talking.
I thought that was one person.
Yeah, with the mouth moving and everything. But no, Will Arnett's doing the voice, and Samoa Joe is the body of Sweet Tooth. And one thing about Sweet Tooth, I was like, okay, if this is going to be a comedy series, are y'all going to like defang Sweet Tooth, right? The thing about Sweet Tooth, he is charismatic. He can be funny, but it's like I still feel very uncomfortable around him.
But he is unwell.
Yes. I still feel very, very uncomfortable around him, and he can be brutal. That's one thing I liked about it, where it's like he's scary, he's funny, and it's like, hey, I could be a normal guy, but I was like, but bruh, it ain't just because you ain't got the clown mask on. It's like, don't fuck with this guy.
Right.
And that's one thing that they brought to the Sweet Tooth character, and I was like, because I was very worried how they were going to do it, and the way it carried on. Even did you see the post-credit scene at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I was just like, oh, okay, he ain't to be messed with.
Right.
And I was like, I think they did an awesome job with Sweet Tooth, and even his backstory. I didn't know he was going to even get any of his backstory.
I was not expecting to get the backstory episode.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good. Like, well, not an episode, but it was a good little story arc. But I wasn't expecting them to give us any more on Sweet Tooth.
Yeah. Swag.
And sometimes seeing Crazy is just like, okay, we just gotta accept they're crazy. We don't really need a backstory for Crazy, but Sweet Tooth was my favorite part of the show. So every time he was on screen, I was excited. I was like happy to see him. Like I was like, what are you gonna get into now? That's what I like the most about Sweet Tooth. Okay,
yeah. Also, the last little thing good I want to bring up, Thomas Hayden Church, right? Sandman himself.
That was him. Okay, I'm like, this face. I know this face.
You know what? Ladies can say the same thing. She was like, who was I said that's Sandman from Spider-Man. And she's like, oh.
Same exact reaction, yes.
Because he got that that state
He
trooper
had
look, don't he?
Punchable face, if I've ever seen one.
So he plays Agent Stone, the asshole cop, who does have a backstory. Whether you like the backstory or not, it does develop why he is the way he is. And,
the backstory was very accurate to police in America.
Exactly.
You know, I shot you, but you're the victim. I'm the victim. I'm like, what? You?
Exactly. But he played an asshole enough that Lady Sketch was sitting there every episode like, "Oh, when is he going to get fucked up? When is he going to get fucked up?"
That's how I felt.
On my hands, waiting with bated breath, like, so when is somebody going to murk boy? I need him to go.
So, I thought he did well in there. And the last thing, the Easter eggs. Now, here's the thing: I'm not a big Twisted Metal person, but when I had to go back and look at the ending explain videos, or I had to go and look at those things and how many Easter eggs they put in there, even him putting in the invincible car code in he was driving in the car of Twisted Metal, having the little strategy guide up there, having the different characters from the game actually in the series, I was like, oh, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I didn't realize until I watched some of the like, I think I watched a couple of the ending explain type videos, and I was like, oh, I didn't know old girl from Truck, she's a person.
Yeah.
Or several people from Truck.
Her thing is Viper too. Yeah, that's her name.
Several people from the Truck are actual characters, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I had to go and watch some more, so I really, because I don't think I really got into like the background or the lore of Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
I played it, a few times, as most kids, those 90s kids did. But I don't know. It was. I thought that was cool. That was a cool little. I guess was Easter. Is that an Easter egg?
Yeah, you got
to put it in there.
Absolutely. Was there anything about the series that you guys did not like, or felt that they can improve on? Oh,
all right.
Okay. She gonna be like Anthony Mackie. No, I'm joking.
No, I'm gonna be real. I thought the series was boring.
Really?
I was bored until the last 3 episodes. That's where I was like, this is interesting. I feel like this series, like, especially with the ending that we got.
Yeah.
This series, this whole series could have just been the pilot. We could have crunched this down to an hour-long pilot. We did not need this long expedition. Also, I think the most interesting thing about the series was Sweet Tooth and Stu. That was the story arc I was interested in the most, and I would have been fine if that whole series was that.
Don't forget about Mike.
Well, yeah, Mike, but
Mike also should have been murked. I don't listen.
Yeah, fuck Mike. Stu and Sweet Tooth were like that story arc was like, I want to see more of this. I just want to see a crazy guy and a guy that's just next to him. He was like, I don't even know how I got here, but I need to survive. I loved that. I loved them too. I felt like for a Twisted Metal show, I expected more car racing or a car like battle royale.
We did have that big car battle royale at the end.
Yeah, I like that. I just expected more. I think also like the series could have been like the blueprint is there in the series, and I see what you're doing, and I feel like if a second season does happen, if it does get greenlit for a second season, that's where a lot of things will be expanded, which I feel like that's going to get me more excited. Whereas this is just like, you took too long to get there. This series could have ended at episode 6 for me. I was like, we're here. Why are we going back? And like, also the whole Holy Men, that could have been his own faction that could have his own story, which I was also interested in. It was a lot of stuff that, like, a lot of meat in here, but the plate was full of the vegetables, which was Anthony Mackie and Quiet. And I was like, I don't want this. I want more meat.
You know what? I had to disagree with you on that one.
Because I'm like, I see you enjoy. I understand why you enjoyed it. I could understand it. I could see the things you like. Personally, I was just like, bro, let's get to it.
So here's the thing, like, so me not being somebody who's into Twisted Metal, right? Mm-hmm. I appreciate being spoon-fed to build up to what Twisted Metal is going to be about. Such as, if there's a season 2, which I think it may be, which I'll talk about in a minute, I feel as though that now I'm ready to go full Twisted Metal. I feel as though that if it went full Twisted Metal at the beginning, and it did not give me a chance to build up or exposition or anything like that, I really felt as though that I would have been tuned out of it because I don't play Twisted Metal. I'm not into
I don't play it either.
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm not into those kind of games. I agree with you about the Stu and Sweet Tooth thing. I enjoy, but once again, all the exposition for all the characters that happened in there, I felt as though was needed because it got me into it. I wouldn't give two shits about Quiet or John Doe or Raven or even Stu for that matter, or even Agent Stone, if there was no build up to it. So now when we get to the crazy stuff, maybe in season 2, now it's like, okay, now we have set the foundation. Now we can build on the foundation. A lot of times in a lot of shows, they're so quick. I think that's a reason why a lot of video game things don't work, because you're so quick to get out to the video game stuff that you don't take time to build a foundation. Everybody wants to do the first thing, got to be straight like the game, but if you have not, games don't always translate to movies.
Right.
I.e. Mortal Kombat 2021. That thing was built on band-aids and stilts because that thing did not stand at all, and it fell completely down. You didn't take time to build the foundation, so by the time this next movie comes out, we ready. We not ready. Same thing when it came to Sonic. Let's build the foundation, and let's go. And then when Sonic 2 comes out, when Knuckles is there, when Amy is there, or if Robotnik is back, now we ready. That's why those movies have been successful.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying with this one. The reason why I think a lot of people like it or enjoy it is like you build the foundation. So now for season 2, it's like let's go full Twisted Metal.
Right.
And
I feel like you could still do that with the. I was just making my own headcanon while watching this. I was like, because again, there's a lot of good in here. It just like, I was just trying to pick it out. Like, if we just had Sweet Tooth and Stu just on an adventure and then, going through each faction, like the Holy Men or what we saw at the end, I'm not going to spoil that. Or like different factions. Have Sweet Tooth piss them off to the point where it's like, we got to kill him. We got to kill him. The only way we got to kill him is we got to keep driving. Load this truck up with guns, and then we're just going to attack because we're sick of this guy. And I feel like that would have been like we're on the villain side where we're also rooting for him.
Yeah, but also Twisted Metal, from my understanding, is Sweet Tooth's the cover, but he's not the main. Yeah, John Doe is the main.
Right. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to focus on John Doe. And we're gonna have to focus on his story, because they even set it to the point where it's like, hey, you don't go to Vegas because you know what's in Vegas,
right?
And that's sweet. So everybody universally knows that you don't fuck with that clown. And now the clown's taking a road trip. Right. That they already established that by episode 3. So now with the clown going on a road trip, everybody should be afraid of that clown,
right?
Because he's not staying in Vegas. So that's why I feel as though that was all cool. Anyway, the Holy Man, I didn't care. The religious people in The Last of Us scared me more than the Holy Men did.
I just for the final boss dude.
Exactly,
he was nuts, but the rest of them,
yeah, the preacher. I was like, okay, you are insane.
Yeah,
the stuff he was doing, I was
out of his mind. Okay,
his ex-girlfriend Harley Quinn was more scared than I'm Holy Man.
Okay. Oddly enough, I agree with the both of you.
Okay.
Only because there was a time in the first few episodes where I was just like, okay, where is this going? I do feel like you could have took a little bit out and maybe took it down to like 8 episodes.
Okay.
I agree with you in the fact that I need to know like some background, or I would not give a shit about the characters. And also, if you dive right into it, you pretty much guarantee that you're not going to get a second season. And the idea is more than likely always to get more than one season. I always think about shows like I want to say it was called like Inception or something along those lines with Megan Good and like Veronica Mars. It's like with Megan Good show, she solved the whole thing the first season. I was like, oh, this not coming back.
Yeah.
Because what's the point? And then after Veronica Mars figured out what happened with the old girl, I was like, why are we still here?
Oh, now it took Veronica Mars 3 seasons. She's found out what happened to Lily Kane. I'm like, he did it. Okay.
I was like, girl, what are you doing? Why are y'all dragging this?
They dragged that too long.
But then when they figured it out, it didn't end. And I was like, okay, y'all could have ended this a while ago. So it's like, you gotta find that sweet spot where we could have took some stuff out and got to it a little faster, but I do feel like I needed to build up because now I do want to see what happens with them and Sweet Tooth and what was her name, Viper from the train, the trucks. Yeah. I do want to see what happens with all of them and how they do in what is presumably going to be the premise of the next season. Yeah, because Calypso got a tournament, which is all part of the whole Twisted Metal lore, and they show some Twisted Metal deep cut characters in there to get people really excited. Like, oh, we about to go in on the next one. The Calypso part was also funny too. I like the Calypso part.
The other thing
well done.
Yes.
The other thing I didn't like was the love connection. I didn't feel like it was needed.
What you talking about?
Between Quiet and John.
No, man, that was I. That's what I'm saying. I actually liked it because I was like,
no, I was like, I was cool with them just being cool, like just be friends. I was like, and then they started kissing. I was like, all right, I guess,
bruh.
I was like,
look. There ain't no way I'm gonna be next to a beautiful woman in a post-apocalyptic United States, and I won this long road trip, and we got a connection, and I ain't getting no pussy. I'm just saying, I had no problem with that. First of all, when you've been alone all your life, when she needs somebody where she been enslaved, okay, she been lied to, she's been enslaved, and she and when it came to her, her brother and stuff like that, bruh, and losing her brother, I believed every bit of that.
I'm so sorry.
I believed it. I was like, I don't know. I was just like, bro, you don't always have to have a love story in this.
Like I said, for all the stuff I seen this year, by the time we had a good love story. Come on, say, and it's the thing. It wasn't sad.
He had Miles and Gwen.
All right, bro.
He didn't even get no. I'm about to say cheeks. He even. I'm sorry. I'm about to say he even barely kissed that girl. Okay, so I'm just like,
Dr. Umar would have been over the moon.
Yes, Umar would have went up to the studio.
Yeah, Black Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Over skin.
No, okay. So here's my thing. I think that we needed the love story to push the plot forward, because otherwise, how do you explain? I mean, how would you get to the point where we're all fighting in this bar?
Yeah.
Spoiler. Sorry. How would we get to the point where we're all fighting in this bar? Because she really would have no other reason to be jealous.
Mm-hmm.
It'd have been a regular milkman stop. Then he would have also. She wouldn't have cared that he didn't want to go into the into. What was it? Yeah. San Francisco. There's different things. I was like, as much as I could see why it's like this just feels like a gratuitous love story. I feel like it did move the plot forward, and it did make it a little bit more interesting dynamic between the two of them. Because again, it's people didn't like the back and forth. Okay, so now they like each other. So what's the complaint now? I don't know. I think it worked because the chemistry between the two of them worked.
Yeah.
Now, if it was, like super bad, and I was like, oh god, y'all don't even want to touch each other, then I'd have been like, all right, because y'all just do this in here for no reason.
It ain't no Jonah Hill, Lauren London type shit. It's it's
if them two had to save the world.
Oh, please.
And we dying.
Y'all just wait your car.
Ain't nobody getting deliveries.
Exactly, and it helped because I will go if y'all didn't see it. Quick spoiler though, but it helps with the plot at the end when we get a shot of Dollface, Dollface is a character from Twisted Metal, which origin has been changed, obviously. But it turns out that is John Doe's sister. And I was like, oh, what is with that? Because they don't creep me out at the end. I was just like,
I thought Sweet Tooth had a religion. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah,
absolutely. I was like,
this is what I want to see.
And I was like, she said, oh, you know my brother, he goes by John. I said, oh snap. Yeah, I was just like,
I'm like, word travel fast for a post-apocalyptic country.
It do.
Really.
So that's but again, that falls in line with me. It's what I said earlier. I think the last 3 episodes was like, that was the best. Like it felt quicker. It was more interesting. I really cared about Joe and Evelyn. Was it Evelyn?
The car, John Evelyn? Yeah.
I like that story. I mean, it was crazy that he was burning money. I'm like,
that hurt. When I saw it, I was like, oh no.
Then I was like, you're in the post-apocalyptic world. You don't need money.
Exactly. You don't need it, but
you don't need it.
But today, I'm saying, yeah, need that.
It hurt. I like that. I like the whole battle royale. I like I like it when stories have like an epilogue.
Yeah.
Where it shows you is like, okay, I got my goal, but how am I reacting to this? Because I was like, John's not gonna just get into the city and be okay. His brain is wired for survival.
Exactly, and
I'm glad they showed that.
As we've seen.
I'm glad they showed that. Yeah.
And when he was in the city, but also, so this is my thing. Maybe did I miss the part where she explained to him the reason why this probably wouldn't work the way they said it was, because they promised her this before? Did we not? Did we never get to that?
No, about how, I did talk about how she was enslaved.
No. But did she ever tell him that?
No, she never told him.
I don't think she. No,
and
I don't think she told
that's
him.
my thing. I'm like, I guess otherwise it wouldn't have worked. But I kind of feel like this is a big piece of information you should share.
Yeah.
She been trauma filled this whole 10 days. You gotta do little by little.
I'm about to say it took her this much just to give him the peace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but this is the thing. Okay, what should have flipped my ass over in a ball pit? I'm gonna open up a little bit more. So it's just like, okay.
They had that sex, but it was made me die. I told them to turn next page. That grandma was freaky, but
I was just like, okay, so especially now because you're in the restaurant that is making you have these active flashbacks of when you were enslaved. After somebody told you that, oh, if you do this labor for X amount of years, then you'll get to go to the promised land, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, if this man is telling me, all right, well, this is even less work than you had to do, and he gets to go into the promised land to this, I would be like, excuse me, question. So, why? Why do you think that this is how this is going to work out? In the world we living in right now, what made you think that you going to do this delivery and you get off scot-free?
The naivety of it. He was naive. That is the whole point of his character and the thing. He knew how to survive, but he was very, very naive. Remember, because she's like, why the hell are you saying Jello? You know?
Yeah, he was really uneducated. I guess
you know what I'm saying?
Or uninformed.
Yeah, he was. Like I say, he was by himself when he was 10 years old, so he didn't really get a chance to learn from the world. But
I do want to know now, because now that we've had her pop up, I want to know what the hell happened to the sister and the parent.
Yeah,
I do want to know that. That got me. I didn't even notice the sister in the picture in the first time.
I watched it back the second time. I saw her in the picture too.
I was like, he has a sister. Like, it was like, dang.
They came down the rat real
Which is
They bring the picture just
that picture was
so you
look at just it. Right. That you right there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
So where would you rank it? Ladies, can I start with you?
Oh, like my grade?
Yes.
I'll give it a B-.
Okay. I think I finally got a new B grade.
A B?
Oh, okay.
Somewhere in there.
Because I think it's gonna be something like, because I was testing it out saying that I will cop it on physical, like a physical release type thing. Because hey, look, I'm a physical release guy. You know what I'm saying?
Buy it on Blu-ray.
That's a Jeremy Johns thing. It's
Okay,
copyrighted.
I was about to say that was
Look.
that. I was like, it's right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say a digital dash.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So
No,
Let's work on this offline.
Yeah. So, how do you rank it, Sway?
I say a hashtag give it a chance. Again, I have my gripes with it, but again, there's a lot of good in this where I was like, I'm actually surprised, which I gotta give Sony credit. Like,
Hey, you don't like doing that.
I give Sony credit a lot. It's Nintendo where I'm
Fair
like,
enough.
they will not hear a good word out of me. I give Sony credit because each property that they're making is completely different from the one before. Last of Us is not the same as Twisted Metal.
Oh, Last of Us is still
Both
my
on a
favorite
post-apocalyptic world, but drastically different.
Exactly. Still my favorite show this year.